All right. So I'm with WARPAR Corp, and I'm here to talk to you about the Enzo light dimmer and the technology that it brings and how it compares to other things that are on the market today. So let's get into that. The available solutions on the market today, they stink. The reasons are they have these annoying controls, the up-down buttons that you have to press a million times to get it to work, or you're trying to get your finger to slide on that little slider, and it's going all over the place, it's jumping around, and it's annoying. And it's also hard on the lights. So I know, like, as we were kids once, we annoyed our parents all the time, flicking the light switch on and off a million times. That's kind of how the technology inside of these dimmers work. And for that reason, there's lower bulb compatibility with LED, CFL, and halogen bulbs. And other things like the Philips Hue, they force you into buying a bunch of different devices, and you don't really need those things. In order to get the whole system working, you need to buy the whole package. So we've all been here before. We come home from the grocery, we have our hands full, and our hands full of groceries or movie snacks even. You're going into the movie room, and the lights are not there. So you walk in front, and the lights should turn on. That's what Enzo does. It has proximity detection. It detects your presence when you walk in front of it and automatically turns the lights on for you. Our new technology is actually highly compatible with a bunch of different bulbs. The LED, CFL, halogen bulbs, they're all highly compatible with that. It has power monitoring, so you actually know how much money that you're saving. It's easy to control via the knob or your phone or through a smart speaker device such as Amazon Alexa or Google Home. And it's elegant. Lots of people will spend $200 on a picture frame and just have a plastic piece of crap sitting there on your wall right next to it. Let's get rid of that. Let's replace it with a nice elegant glass and nice glowing finish. You also have a capacitive touch button on the bottom that lets you choose different modes. So if you're getting into bed at night, you could have a countdown timer, 30-second countdown before you get into bed so you don't stub your toe on your bed frame. And US households with smart speakers are expected to grow by 10 times by 2020. And network lighting systems are expected to go up at a similar rate, 5.3 billion by 2020. I have 4 pre-orders on my website so far, warpar.ca, at $70 per device. And I expect once people get it to their houses that they'll have 3 to 5 devices per home. During my entrepreneurial work term, I hired an information company and got them to supply me with a list of 200 businesses. From those 200 businesses, I narrowed it down to 20, and 3 of them are willing to carry my product after it receives UL and CSA certification. I have hardware, software experience, and I've even been in talk with air purification manufacturers out of Montreal, because this technology can also be used to control the speed of motors. So I have a prototype here I'd like to show you real quick. Here it is here. You can see the mechanical prototype is about 80% complete, and the electronics prototype has also been tested, and it works well. So once it's UL and CSA certified, I'd like to increase my sales on my website, move to Amazon, and then move to the retail stores like Best Buy, Walmart, etc. If I were to get the 10K today, I would finish my electronics prototype to include the knob and all of that, because the dimming is 100% so far. Finish the mechanical prototype as well, because once I change the electronics in it, the form factor is going to change as well. So I'm going to need to update my 80% complete design and get the injection mold, glass faceplates, and metal knob manufacturing under control as well. And obviously, if any funds are remaining, because I know UL and CSA certification is expensive, I will use that for that as well. So let's all save power and style. You can get yours today at warpar.ca. Thank you.
All right. Very interesting. I'm going to give this back to you. I have my phone here. All right. I'm going to open it up now for questions from the judges.
can hear you, but I don't know if they can. Well, my background as an electrical engineer in a couple weeks, anyways. Um, it's more about the hardware and the compatibility. Like I mentioned before, with the switching on and off really fast, the other technologies use what's called a triac. I get away from that, and I have a much smoother dimming profile. And what that causes it to do is go from 0 to 120 volts very gradually rather than a big spike. And that's half the reason that you don't get that bulb compatibility like you do with the other triac dimmers. So it is kind of more of a hardware-based project. But of course, the software has to be alongside of it so you get all of those timer features and presence detection as well. Should check the judge's mic here.
Okay, thank you, Warren. I was gonna share. Can you talk about distribution a bit more? You mentioned Amazon. Have you talked to any more bricks and mortars type retailers or other companies that may take this on in bulk? And can you also talk about projected revenue stream?
Right. So in the past, the whole reason before WARPAR Corp, before I decided to create WARPAR Corp, I was actually creating old dimmers based on the old design that the other dimmers used. I've actually sold 800 of those dimmers online as well to hobbyists and prototype in the prototype space as well. So I think bringing it to Amazon and getting the traction like I had with those old sales, and trying to get it more into a consumer market rather than that hobbyist. It was just a PCB, basically, a circuit board that hobbyists could use and use for prototyping like AirPure is doing. So I think once I get the traction on Amazon and it gets out into enough hands, I think that approaching these retail markets, it would be a lot easier.
Okay, what about internationally certification? Like, are you allowed to sell like on Alibaba and other platforms?
So internationally, it requires CE certification. So right now, with the current mechanical prototype, it fits into a single gang box for U.S. or North America market. So I would have to redefine the design a little bit and then get it CE certified, but that would be in the future after I get traction here in North America.
Okay, hi. I hope this is louder. I have two very quick questions. The first, I'm curious for you to share 3 things that makes your product better than your competitors' products.
So as mentioned before, if you have your hands full, the proximity detection, you notice that other light switches, like if you go into a washroom, for instance, they have that big, some of them do have motion detection, but they have that big, ugly IR sensor on the front of it. This would use a radar sensor that would actually penetrate the glass and be able to detect presence that way. That's a new thing that I've never seen before as well. And I think just the elegant look of it and the metal knob finish and everything makes it something somebody would be proud of to have in their house.
Okay, thanks. Second quick question. Warren, why do you care about dimming light bulbs?
Well, it was kind of a challenge just to make the original PCB prototype that I had before, and I've been refining it so many times over the years, and seeing how many times that I was being able to sell them and come up with new revisions and make it better. When I came up with the new revision that allowed that 0 to 120 nice gradual profile, that's when I said, okay, maybe this is something where I can actually start a business from this, because this is unique. And that's when AirPura actually contacted me to use it for prototyping one of their new purification units.
Okay, thank you.
Great job. I didn't think I'd be as excited about this as I actually am. So it must have something to do with the presentation and obviously the idea. So my question is around the, I don't even know if it's a word, patentability. Can this be patented? Because I would think, so it's two-part. I would think that it's about speed to market in a case like this. If you're working on this, you don't get it out in the market first, somebody else will?
Right. So, and it's funny you mentioned that. When I was working with the electrical contractor with AirPura, he actually said the exact same thing to me. And that's why he said, well, I have a buddy that works with KB Electronics, and they're one of the internationally known motor driver things for like conveyor belts and stuff like that. It would be good to talk to them. So they've actually agreed to talk to me after I graduate and maybe set up something with them, maybe for licensing this as a side thing. And then they would let me also keep the IP for use in the consumer market with my product.
Cool, thank you.
Great job, Warren. That kind of ties into my question. And this is maybe 40,000 foot, but I think it's important. Are you an inventor? Are you a manufacturer? Are you a distributor? Or are you all three?
I would say I'm all three. I'm a little bit of a nerd. Let's put it out there. I have a toaster oven at home that I modified so I can do reflow soldering. So I do all my circuit boards at home. And place everything with tweezers and put it all on the board, stick it in the oven, let it do its thing. So I kind of have this development cycle, and I work, I get my boards from China blank, order all my parts off DigiKey, sit there at home and do it, and make a product.
Because it sounds to me you're like a way, way more passionate inventor than you are a manufacturer distributor. I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's, to me, I would challenge you to say, what are you really about? And how you can actually make a huge amount of money being a really awesome inventor and let other people worry about the manufacturing and distributing.
Great point.
Easy.